What's up guys, welcome to a special behind the scenes making of my YouTube videos. I thought this would be a little interesting to just let you know how I go about making all the content that I make. So it's Saturday morning, approximately 10 to 10. It's a little later than what I usually film them on, but 10 to 10 roughly in the morning, get straight in and here's my setup. So this is my setup, which is kind of what you look at for most of the time, you just don't realize it. So over here we have the camera. It's a simple webcam, the Logitech Pro C9 220 I think it is, and an Amazon Basics tripod. Here of course is the green screen. As you can see over here, there's a little hole in the green screen. Don't know how it happened, but it happened. First time I used it as well. I usually try to position myself in front of the hole, but sometimes things happen, and if you look closely on some of my videos you'll be able to see where it isn't entirely green screened. But this is what I see when I'm recording my videos, just the camera and the rest of my living room. There's nothing on the floor. Ideally in a studio there'd be markers where I could say, right, this is where the camera goes, right, this is where my feet should be, but it's a living room, I don't have the luxury of doing that. 10 o'clock in the morning roughly, all the lights are on. The reason for that is because the green screen, it needs to be brightly lit. Ideally, this would be in a studio setting. I'd have lights pointing straight at the green screen, but sadly, well, yeah, that costs a lot of money, so can't do that. Here's the microphone. I haven't got it set up right now. It's a USB microphone, much better than my previous microphone, but it does suffer from interference here and there, as I'm sure you've probably heard on some of my shows. And over on the computer display you can see me on the camera there. This is OBS, Open Broadcast Software. I'll zoom in a bit. This is where I film all of my content, and I can also stream from here as well. As you can see, today I'm recording Die Hard Ranked, and I'm also doing Blair Witch, the video game review. So that'll give you an idea of how far in advance I'm filming certain content. Right now, I've probably got about 6 or 7 weeks worth of content recorded and in some state of editing. So like I said, today I'm recording Die Hard Ranked. Here's just a quick look at the script that I'm using, because Die Hard Ranked is a script show. I basically go through this 2 days ahead of time, roughly, give or take, it just depends. And I write out the script, then look over it again, try and add in little things here and there, make sure it all makes sense, make sure it's all condensed right to the point. And when it comes to recording, I usually say this almost word for word. I might add a couple of things here and there off the top of my head. While I do read this off the top of my head as best I can, I do occasionally have to look over to the screen, which is why it's on a bit of a slant, because this is what I see. So whenever I'm editing stuff out, it's because I'm having to look at the script. Now ideally, of course, I would have some sort of an auto cue or a teleprompter, which would go through and basically I'd read it as it's in front of my face. But sadly, those cost money, and they're actually quite expensive as well. When it comes to reviews, things are a little different. It's much more bullet point based, and I use these more as prompts and reminders than anything else. This is a video game review of Blair Witch, and it's a little different from my film and TV reviews. Film and TV, it's more categorized into story, character and production, whereas here it's story and characters, then gameplay, then straight into a verdict. And I'll go from one area to the other, just jumping off whatever points I can come up with, and my reviews are off the top of my head. Again, these are just prompts and little reminders for things that I need to talk about. In terms of all of this setup, you're probably talking about 15 minutes to set up, and I usually set it up the night before, that way in the morning I can just come straight in, get on with it, get it out of the way, and as soon as I'm done filming, I will go straight into the editing, usually of the reviews first, because they have to be uploaded first. So Die Hard Ranked, for example, which is what I'm recording today, that's probably not going to be up for a few weeks at least, whereas Blair Witch review, that's going to be up in 2 days time. Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers, it's time to rank the Die Hard movies. So it's just after 20 past 10, I just finished filming Die Hard Ranked, and now I'm going to transition over to do my review of Blair Witch. So yeah, Die Hard Ranked took about 20 minutes to record. By the time I edit it down, it's probably going to be one of the shorter ones that I do. I reckon it'll be less than 10 minutes overall, but you'll have to wait and see that. or maybe that's already out by the time you're watching this. To transition over from a presenting show where I'm reading from a script to a review, I bring in the stool because the review's off the top of my head. I don't know how long I'm going to be speaking for, so it's best to be comfortable as best I can. I've also then got to adjust the camera for the right level, and this can be tricky because it takes some work. Ideally, there would be another person there to help me out so I can get the level right, but I've got to keep jumping from one position to the other because I'm doing this all on my own. So I really like the game, but there are some problems with it, such as the frame rate dipping at times, and then there are other things like texture popping. Just some little technical things that prevent it from being really good. So it's about 10:40 right now, and I've just finished the Blair Witch video game review. That's all I'm going to be filming today, and now that I've filmed them, it's time to get straight into editing the Blair Witch video game review, because that has to be up in 2 days' time. It's now about 10:45. I've put the camera away and all the other things, except for the green screen that goes later, and it's now time to edit. I use a software called DaVinci Resolve. The industry standard is Adobe Premiere Pro, but that costs a lot of money because you have to, it's essentially a subscription service which you pay every month, and since I don't get any money from any of the content that I put online, I can't really justify that cost. But anyway, DaVinci Resolve, it's kind of similar. I like it a lot. As you can see, I've got categories for all of the shows that I do. Some of them are in some stage of editing right now, and today, because I've just done Die Hard Rant and a review of Blair Witch, the most important thing that I need to edit right now is Blair Witch, because it comes up in just 2 days' time. So let's get straight into editing that. This is kind of what it looks like, the editing software. The introduction video is already in there, so is the links to Twitter and so on. If this were a film and TV review, I'd be looking up images on Google to add in there to add some flavour to the review, so it's not just me sitting in front of a camera. With it being a video game review, I would do that with video game footage, and my past video game reviews, I've actually put the footage up of my own playthroughs. Sadly, with Blair Witch, there was a fault getting the content. I don't have a capture card, so it's a tricky process. Basically, I couldn't get the footage, so I'm going to have to do some internet exploring and magic to get that footage in there. Here's the Blair Witch footage I've just recorded. Slide it in here, and as you might see, over here is where all the sound is. Basically, I do a quick run through, deleting everything that's silent or just big blank spots where I've had to look at my prompts or reminders. I don't ever delete any of the actual dialogue or anything that I've actually said or done. So you're not actually losing content, it's just making it a bit more streamlined and a bit more focused. And for a basic review of about 10-15 minutes, whatever it's going to be, you're probably talking about half an hour to do a full edit. And the more technical reviews, so something like Ranked, Die Hard Ranked, that's going to take me a long time. That's going to take several hours, and I'll have to spread that out over the course of like a week to do that. So yeah, that's the editing process. I'm not going to show you all of it because it's pretty tedious, pretty boring, not a lot to look at. Once the editing process is done, I then have to render the video. For a 10-minute video, you're probably talking about 20-25 minutes. Longer videos take longer. And once it's rendered, that means I can then upload it to YouTube. And once I do that, fairly simple, click upload, fill in all the details, give it a name and so on, and then upload a thumbnail. Usually I would have the thumbnail done a few days earlier. Today I actually haven't done that, so I'm gonna have to do that at some point later today or tomorrow, and then that's it, ready to upload onto YouTube, waiting for you to watch it. And that's the behind the scenes look at how I make my YouTube content. I hope you've liked it. It might be interesting to some of you just to know what I'm doing on a daily basis, or rather on a Saturday. But I'll probably finish this editing now at about, I reckon maybe 11:30, and that's just because I'm editing one video. Sometimes I might be editing more, so it could be there for a lot longer. Then I try to edit something every day until it's out. If you've liked this, subscribe to my channel. That's really important. The more subscribers I get, the more content I can make, the better content I can make. Give this a thumbs up, leave comments and questions and feedback down below. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at _Grant Burton. And until next time, thanks for watching.